Okay, so do you guys remember site modeling? Right? Site modeling, like what is that? Is that like a distinct memory in your brain? Have you just like repressed it? Is it still happening? Because I'm not even sure the answer to that. But I think it'll be so important for us right now to just like take a look in, kind of explore everything. So I actually had one of my followers reach out to me and tell me that they were super involved with Alex Addicted.
Hi, my name is Amber. I currently am Amber is Lame on Instagram, and I used to be Amber Anatomy back in the Scene Kid days.
And if you're not familiar with Alex Addicted was like the biggest site modeling site.
If you got a video made of you by Alexa, it was like you made it to the big time of the alt world. Like that was the goal back then, was to get, you know, someone that big to make a video about you and to notice you, because so many people watched her videos. It was a big deal to people back then.
What was your affiliation with Alex Addicted?
So I joined as a model back in 2010, and then I became a moderator for the Becoming Addicted group shortly after that. In the beginning, I was just a model, so I just had made videos on YouTube. Alexa found me through YouTube and then connected with me on Facebook and invited me to join the group. And I'd say around 6 months later or so, she came up with the idea of the Becoming Addicted group, which was a group where she would find girls who weren't quite ready to be the models in Alex Addicted, but were close. So they were worth bringing into this group, and the other models like myself would kind of help them out, teach them how to take pictures better, give them ideas on how they could improve their makeup or their look to try to get to that model status. So that's what that was.
In fact, Alex Addicted is actually the one who made Lita famous. She was originally a site model for Alex Addicted.
So Alex Addicted is a site modeling group. Back in the day, it was like the biggest site modeling group that you could be involved in. So her videos had thousands upon thousands of views on YouTube. So Alexa would find you, make a big video about you, and you would just join and send her in pictures and be a part of this community or this group full of other people who were like you. And it was, you know, the alt community was so small back then that the internet really brought everyone together. So that's pretty much what that was. It was a place for us all to come together and model together and connect. Yes, so Ink Dolls was like the other big group back then that Alex Addicted had a lot of beef with. So Ink Dolls and Alex Addicted were kind of hand in hand with each other throughout the whole scene. Ink Dolls definitely came later than Alex Addicted, but most of the girls who ended up leaving Alex Addicted for one reason or another went to Ink Dolls. But there were other groups within Alex Addicted too. I was also in the Alex Addicted VIP group, which was if Alexa really liked you, you got in the VIP group. That's pretty much what that meant. Lita Monster Bunny was a part of Alex Addicted for a while. I'm going to say her name wrong. Verna Schizophrenia was a part of it. She later left and joined Ink Dolls, which I'll talk about later. And there was tons of people who were involved. She made videos of everyone. Some people she made videos about weren't necessarily a part of the group, like Amber is Dead. She definitely made a video of her. I don't know if she ever considered herself a site model, but anyone who was popular in the scene back then, Alexa made a video on them. Everybody.
So, like, let's just start from the beginning, right? What's a site model? How do we explain what a site model is? Well, it's a model. It's like an internet influencer, but to like a lesser extreme. To maybe some extremes, but I'll kind of explain. A site model is somebody who wants to be a model. They don't need to pay for like a professional to take pictures of them, right? They can take the pictures of themselves in their yard, in their bathroom mirror. And as long as it had like a certain look that that specific modeling agency wanted, then they could just submit it and they would get in. It didn't cost anything. They probably weren't making any money from it.
Alex Addicted never took any pictures of us. We would sometimes get our own photographers to take pictures, but most of the photos were selfies that the girls themselves took.
In exchange, they were getting internet clout, which we did not call clout at the time. And they were technically mini influencers, but we also didn't call them influencers at the time. You see, to be an influencer in the beginning of the internet, or rather the beginning of social media in the internet, it really wasn't profitable. A lot of these people were pretty poor, actually, when it turns out. And it's funny because now apparently there's like some modeling pass where if you're a model, you can get all kinds of free stuff, according to TikTok. I don't know.
Well, all I know about Lita's involvement is she would very rarely pop into the group. She seemed to be avoiding Alexa at all costs by the time that I got in there. By the time that I started in Alex Addicted, Alexa and Lita already had this very estranged relationship with each other. You could tell that Alexa made Lita uncomfortable just by the way that she responded to her. Alexa would say that Lita was her favorite person in the world and then bully her the next day or even the next hour, trying to force her to send her more pictures. And, she wasn't talking to her enough. And Alexa really demanded all of your attention when she wanted to talk to you. And Lita, had a life outside of this. She was doing other things. She had her own channel. She had everything else she was doing. And Alexa was just bombarding her with all of this. And I don't think she really wanted anything to do with it once she kind of realized what kind of person Alexa was. Well, she seemed to just dissolve out slowly. I know that Alexa had made this big post saying that she didn't trust her anymore, that maybe she was a spy. Alexa was very concerned that everyone who didn't like her was a spy. She always thought that people in the ink dolls were sending models as spies. And so it was our job to vet them and make sure that they weren't spies sent by ink dolls to infiltrate the group and take over or steal her video ideas before she actually posted them, things like that. She was very afraid of that. The girls who went to Ink Dolls were from Alex Addicted for the most part. So they knew what was going on in the group. So I wouldn't say any of them were spies, but they had the inside knowledge of what she was doing. They weren't lying. So Alexa wanted everyone to really believe that they were lying. And she would do everything in her power to convince you of that and make herself seem like a good person. And because she was dealing with such young girls and boys in the group, it was easy for her to do that to a lot of people. Everyone in that group, wanted to make it big. So it was easy to give in to what she was doing.
So back then, the websites where these modeling agencies occurred were like MySpace, right? You could upload pictures to MySpace and like the best one would be set as the profile pic, but they'd have like this whole entire aesthetic, right? It would be like, as you can see, like impact font and like crazy colors around it. And the look back then that was really popular, as much as we don't want to admit it, was scene and emo, right? That was super mainstream. You wanted to look like the girls who went on Warped Tour because they got all the guys that were like on the radio, right? My Chemical Romance was on the radio. Like all of these bands we like to talk about now were on the radio at one point. Alternatively, technically it was all alternative, haha. It continued on to Tumblr. Site modeling was giant. People would reblog the pictures. And then the next step in site modeling, which is probably still like completely preserved on Facebook. So go look up if you were involved in this, because I'm sure the pictures are still there. Their picture would be on like every major site that they got accepted to. And it'd be a great way for people to like exchange like information and picture advice and like, or exchange pictures. And you kind of had to have this application process to get in. So you couldn't just like submit your pictures and be accepted. I mean, some of them, the lower level ones you could, but like with ones like Alex Addicted, you had to apply for it and go through all the bells and whistles and sometimes more. It got pretty brutal for these girls. I mean, a lot of these girls were subject to, besides the drama, like a lot of online harassment. Fame wasn't what they thought it would be, unfortunately.
We never found out who Alexa actually was. There was some speculation that Alexa was a man because she would give out her phone number to the models. I had her personal phone number myself. Someone backtraced that. A girl named Bianca in our group actually did that at one point, and it came back to a male name. Some people said, that could just be whoever owns her phone plan. Some people said that that's probably who Alexa really is because she would post a proof picture. It was always the same picture. Never changed. It looked very edited. It wouldn't have passed for like one of our proof pictures if we had sent it to her for sure. And she was just never willing to video chat or talk on the phone with anyone. So those were other hints that maybe this person might not be who they say they are. So there was all kinds of drama. Alexa was very popular and she knew it. And it gave her a lot of power over everyone in the scene and all these young girls who wanted to be in the scene. And so Alexa also seemed to have like, how would you say it? She had like a mean streak to her. And if you upset her in any way, you got on her bad side, she would let you know. She would bully the girls constantly, really badly. She would make fun of you. She would blacklist you. So she would make all the other models delete you. She also was involved with some grooming that she was doing of underage models. She would try to force these young girls to send inappropriate pictures to her, and she definitely received some of those inappropriate photos. Otherwise, they would be kicked out of the group or blacklisted. And it was very hush hush for a long time. Nobody wanted to come forward because she was so powerful. She could really mess up your actual life. That's how much power she had. And these girls were all so young. I mean, I was 14 and 15 years old when I was doing this, and most of the other girls, some of the girls that we had in the group were as young as 9. So, like I said, she would request the photos. She would, bully you. She would text you 1,000 times, blow up your phone. She wanted everyone in the group to call her mama. She kind of really pushed that on everyone. And it was just this very toxic relationship. Just nothing she did was really good or healthy. And it was very easy to quickly come to terms with that. So if you wanted to get out and not be busted for it, you pretty much had to slowly phase yourself out of the group. Because if she noticed that you just left, she would spam you. She had, 10 different accounts that she would contact you from or stalk you with and have everyone else delete you or send hate mail. She would have some of the girls who really liked her bombard these other models with hate. And that could be really damaging for a lot of the girls. I mean, a lot of these people were going through a lot of stuff. Some of them struggled with self-harm. It was a really dangerous situation for sure. Once they got out of AlexAddicted, I mean, they made a list, like a very actual list of people we were not allowed to even have on our friends list anymore. Alexa would try to contact them. I know any of the ones that she had their phone number, she would post conversations with them, trying to make her look good and them look bad. Usually it did the opposite, in my opinion, at least. And she would just talk about them all the time. She became very obsessive over these girls, and she would make threats at them saying that she was going to ruin their life, maybe tell their boyfriends terrible things or their girlfriends, and she would really try to do her best to at least scare you into thinking that your life is going to be ruined. And she did this, from the high up girls all the way down to the bottom. So she did try to get photos from me when I was 14. I had a boyfriend at that time, and I was very nervous, didn't even, send him things like that. I was a minor, obviously. And it was scary. So she would text me constantly, and then I would just not respond, pretend I never saw it. She would text again. The next day, she would send me messages on Messenger asking, or, if I posted a photo that my legs were in, she might say, you should open your legs, just really inappropriate things. So I never sent any photos. I tried, whenever she did that, I just phased the conversation out to try to get her to move on, to something else. I literally phased out of it. So I was running the Becoming Addicted group with a few other girls. And I was in sort of a private group chat with some of the girls who knew what was going on and who believed, or at least believed, the other girls, kind of banding together to get all this information, make police reports. That never went anywhere because it was sort of new on the internet. None of these laws really applied. So everything kind of went in and out as it came to the police, but police reports were filed. So we all just kind of talked and pulled together all these messages of what was being said to us. And my idea was just to post very infrequently in the group until she sort of forgot about me. And then it took probably 6 months for me to phase out of the group once I realized that things were really going south, just to not, make myself a target.
Is it still happening? Does the group still exist?
So as far as I know, the last that I've seen from Alexa was posted in either 2016 or 2017. I have heard things off and on from girls that maybe she's still around, but I know that she tried to open a website towards the end of my being there. She was trying to get the other girls to pay to make a website on her behalf for AlexAddicted, and then she tried to move it to adult modeling. So that was girls that were over the age of 18, and then nude modeling in that way. So I don't know if, maybe they're operating under a different name now. But as far as I know, the AlexAddicted name has shut down, and her original YouTube channel was removed. And now she does have a few other backup YouTube accounts where she posted some of the smaller videos. The Alex Addicted 3 channel, the Chata or Tega channel, and I think Alex Addicted 1 is still an active channel, but nothing has been posted there in a very long time. So to anyone that was a part of this and experienced this from Alexa or maybe someone like her, just know that you're not alone in it. There was so many of us, and that we believe you, and we know that it happened, and that it was incredibly unfortunate, and that I hope that nothing like this happens again. I hope that this is an experience that if we went through it, that maybe sharing it can help other young girls to avoid it. And to anyone who is looking at site modeling, just know that there are predators out there. I mean, some of these sites are genuine, good groups for people to connect, and some of them are dangerous. So use your gut instinct. Don't ever give anyone any information that you aren't comfortable the whole world having. And just think of it that way.
Are all of the people that we used to trust on the internet actually just 80-year-old men pretending to be 13-year-olds? Or are they all just 16-year-old, actually very beautiful scene kids pretending to be Alex Evans? I guess the world will never know the answer. So there you have it. Scene kids, right? Emo kids, right? You all remember site modeling. There was a lot more like site modeling, and I'm sure a lot more crazy stuff that happened outside of the scope of just Alex Addicted. But I thought it was really, really cool to just kind of share this perspective of something that's like not talked about as much anymore. Because like there were very, very, very young people in site modeling. There were like 9-year-olds in it. Like you could be anybody. You just had to like have the look. And it's so funny because a lot of those people probably just went on to live normal lives and never thought twice about it, never looked back at their site modeling. I certainly forgot that I even did this. Okay, so what do they say? Smash that like button, subscribe, follow, turn your alerts on, do the whole thing. I think subscribing and following are the same thing on YouTube. You can also find me on TikTok where I talked about stuff in like 60-second segments. Thank you so much for watching. It is so much fun to talk about this stuff, and I can't wait to talk with you guys next time.